Hey guys, it's Alex, and today I want to talk a little bit about anger. How do you talk to someone, or better yet, how do you continue a conversation with someone who has become angry during the conversation? First of all, it may be good to point out when you notice a conversation has no longer maintained that title of being a conversation, because the very definition of a conversation is it's one or more people. And typically when someone becomes angry in a conversation, you might be there still, but this other person's capacity to take turns and listen may have been totally diminished. Now, I do believe that it matters if you are the cause for the anger in the conversation, or if this person has become angry because of something outside of you. So it's going to take some interpretation skills and picking up on cues and really keeping yourself calm in order to fully understand where this anger is stemming from. Because if you're having a conversation with someone that is important and you need to come to a conclusion together, you're going to have to be the one that does the mature and hard work of distinguishing what type of angry are we dealing with. Also, something that needs to be said is if someone has become violent in the middle of a conversation, if all they are doing is just repeatedly swearing, you probably want to remove yourself from that situation. This is not the time or place for you to be a bigger person and try to understand when they're becoming violent. Exit left, exit right now. But let's assume, for the purpose of getting somewhere with this video and getting somewhere with this person that you're talking to, that they are generally a healthy person who is able to handle conflict resolution with what we would call more standard ways of doing that. So if someone becomes irate, the first thing you should know is that if they're maintaining this level of irateness, you're not going to get anywhere with that conversation. So your first goal should never be to counterpoint whatever this person is saying in the moment about their anger. If they say something like, well, I'm just angry because that made me feel like they didn't respect me at all, and I'm not going to be treated like that. And if you're talking to me right now and I'm also not feeling respected, I'm going to treat you the same way that person treated me when I didn't feel respected with them. Okay, so pause here. You might have a human instinctual urge to say, what are you talking about? Why are you comparing me to someone else? I do respect you, and I know I respect you because I'm me and I know. Well, that might be true. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the thing to say to calm this person down. Forget about what you have to say. The first thing you have to do when you're dealing with someone angry is you have to lower your voice and speak slowly for a couple reasons. The first reason is when you talk low and slow like this, and you maintain eye contact, you're not being condescending, you're simply slowing the pace, and you're trying to deliver intention with your attention on them. If you start getting passive aggressive with it and go silent, these are not things that will help calm people down. But if you lower your voice and slow down your speaking, the first thing you should say to an irate person is this: I'm not wanting to interrupt you. In fact, I want you to keep going. But notice me. Notice that I'm talking already lower and slower than the person that 1 second ago was saying, and you're acting like you don't respect me, and that's just like blah, 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 who didn't respect me, and they're getting louder, they're getting faster, and you are going to take control by getting lower and slower. Not changing too much about your posture. You're keeping your intent and your attention on them. And I want you to think about sincerity when you do this. Channel the spirit of sincerity when you say this, and you say again. We're running through examples because I've always found in coaching, it is the absolute best way for you to really get the gist of what I'm talking about. So low and slow, we say, I don't want you to think I'm interrupting you right now because I want you to keep going. Can you repeat what you just said, but this time just a little bit slower, because I want to fully understand where you're coming from and how we got to here right now in the conversation, because this is very important to me, how you feel. Boom. Now it's their turn to speak. If something is really, really outside of what we would consider normal human behavior, healthy human behavior, that person might continue to scream. However, 80% of the time, in my experience, what happens is mimicking behavior. As humans, as visual creatures, as creatures full of all the senses, what we tend to do is we mimic the environment around us. So if an angry person is angry and you also become hostile, they're going to continue to level up and become more and more hostile, because you can see their nature already has the capacity to take it there, to take it to different levels. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to take it from here, down to here, down to here, down to here. And so when you speak to them, that low, slow, deliberate, full of intention, full of sincerity, no condescending verbiage, you are not going to get anywhere if you try to get combative back. And if you get defensive, it's just going to create an environment where they become even more defensive. So yes, it is possible to calm an irate person down. But the truth is, it's not what you say that's going to calm them down in that moment where it's kind of your turn to talk. It's going to be how you say it, the tone, the speed, just the vibrato in your voice, making sure you're staying very even keeled. And it also helps if you're actually sincere, not just mimicking what I'm telling you to do, but if you're talking with someone and this person is in your life enough to where you can stand being around them in general, they just so happen to be very upset in the moment, you actually should care enough to find out why they're feeling this angry. Now, there are going to be instances where you do what I'm instructing you to do, and they just can't let it go. This should be a red flag to you that something else a lot more serious than what's going on right now in this conversation that you and that person are having than you and this person. Likely something has happened, and this person in this actual example has told you, somebody else made me feel disrespected, and now you're making me feel the same way. We know that there is something going on beyond you, and every single thing a person tells you is something you can use to speak to them in their state of mind in the moment. If we were to progress with this lesson here, I would likely say, okay, the person has said, you're making me feel like someone else has made you feel. Well, it's time to talk about how this other person made them feel in the past. I do this when I talk about the past because it's behind, right? It's happened, but here it is, influencing the present. So I'm hearing you say that I've made you feel like someone has made you feel in the past. And I'll tell you right now, I don't like the thought of someone making you feel disrespected. I don't like the thought of this person who has done that to you. Even worse is that you think that I also have some intention to make you feel that way. So let me clear this up right now. I can't apologize on behalf of this person who obviously hurt you in the past. They should have apologized when they hurt you. Here we are now, but hopefully you can take from me this and listen to me clearly. You didn't deserve to be disrespected. any more than you deserve to be disrespected right now in the present. And knowing that that's how I feel, I hope now you see I'm not trying to disrespect you. Though no one gets to tell you how I feel, and I see I've made you feel that way. So let me show you why I definitely have no intention of making you feel disrespected. And then you go through whatever is actually going on in the conversation. I'm ad-libbing, I'm making up a scenario with no content. But context of what this person is saying and how they're linking it to you right now in that moment, that's given you some keys in that particular example, that the anger was already there before you got there. You can't stir a pot full of soup that has no soup in it. The anger was already there. What we tend to do wrong with anger in our conversations is take anger very personally. We get defensive because we are wired to look out for ourselves and stay in our own heads, because that's the only thing we have to experience is through our own selves. But to remember this when you go into a conversation the next time and things get angry, just remember only this. And we'll do subsequent videos next about other scenarios with anger and yourself getting angry maybe, and even how to deal with that. But for today's lesson, and in the next conversation you have with an angry person, the only thing I would like you to remember, because remembering too much at once isn't practical, especially in heated, passionate moments where you're not enjoying this conversation. Remember, this person is talking loud, maybe wrong, and angry. So you're going to be slow, deliberate, and sincere. And you're going to have to tell me if you don't notice that they begin to mimic your behavior. And the cool thing about this is we're all pre-wired to mimic behavior unless something is truly off. And sometimes that's the case. Sometimes someone's just truly off. If a person won't let you get in a word in edgewise, and they're always controlling conversations, and over text, they text you but won't let you text them back, they'll turn off their phone. This is not a healthy human being. This is someone that needs help beyond you, and it's probably best to distance yourself from them. You're not there to help everyone. But in a normal situation, with what I would consider, and in my opinion, a normally balanced person, it is healthy to become angry. It really is, because bottling it in is a disaster. But it's also healthy to have a conversation get completed and not always be walking away. So low, slow, deliberate verbiage and sincerity to just let them know you've noticed they've become upset. Speak to what has made them upset in the past if they bring that up before you speak to what's going on in the present, because it shows a level of concern that, quite frankly, most people don't take the time to do in their conversations, and it makes all the difference in the world if you take the time to do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. More videos on anger and everything else fun in human behavior coming up soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying this content, please click the subscribe button, hit that all for the notifications, and until next time, I hope you have happy, healthy conversations with each other.